So if all you get from this practice is from this call is this breath practice, then I will be happy. The first thing that I got from my teacher during the first workshop was a breath practice, not this one, but a different one. And over the course of a few months, my voice dropped, literally my body changed, and my capacity to be intimate expanded tremendously, because breath soothes the nervous system. Breath down regulates our nervous system. Intimacy challenges our nervous system, right? It will challenge. To stay intimate in a moment will challenge our nervous systems. And so breath is an incredibly important tool. So that's where we're going to start. And then I'm going to get into other areas that are the specific areas about healing disconnection, repair tools, devotion to each other's nervous system. I'll get into that after we breathe. For just going to be 5 minutes. Okay. So what you're going to want to do is just get into a nice, tall, seated position. So you might have to come to the edge of your seat, to the edge of your couch. If you have a partner next to you while you're doing this, because I see a few of you do, as you're doing this, really feel their breath and see if you guys can connect your breath. So inhale and exhale together. This is a pelvic floor breath, meaning the pelvic floor sits like a bowl at the base of our abdomen. So it sits like a bowl at the base of our abdomen. And when we inhale into it, it expands and brings all this energy, all this blood flow into our lower abdomen, our womb, our dantian, our genitals, like the most important parts, the deepest parts of our body. So in this inhale, it's going to be in and out through the nose. You're going to want to really focus on the pelvic floor. Everybody knows what the pelvic floor is to some degree or another. If not, just, feel down there. You'll feel it opening and moving. And the inhale is an expansion of the pelvic floor down into your genitals, down into your, the lower part of your body. And the exhale is just a gentle pulling it up. Okay. And that's all we're going to do. But we're going to do it kind of quickly and powerfully. So this isn't, relaxation, nappy time breath. This is wake up the body, wake up the blood flow, wake up our life kind of breath. Okay. I'll demo it for a few seconds. Jen's going to put on some music. And then you guys come on in, okay? All right. Oh, come on, you guys can breathe deeper than that. Come on, breathe. Harold, what the fuck, man? Breathe, brother. Breathe like you're saying yes. Breathe like you're saying yes to life, like you're making love to this moment, like you're taking it in and you're breathing down into the lower abdomen, stretching it out in every direction, imagining that your pelvic floor gets to hit the ground. Keep going, deeper breath. We're only gonna do it for a couple minutes. Begin to imagine that your pelvic floor is literally pressing into the earth, is literally pressing down through your genitals, down through your lower body into the earth. 5 feet down into the earth, 10 feet down into the earth. Just let it go. It's another 90 seconds, so really go for it. You want to open this part of your body. This is it, love. Last minute, bring all of your awareness to this part of your body. Really feel this part of your body opening up. Go into your womb, go into your dantian, go into the base of your body, the base of your spine, your sacrum, your genitals. Go into these parts of your body and feel the infinite space there. Let the breath be a portal to the infinite space, the magic that's below your navel. Go, go, go. 45 more seconds. Go. If you get dizzy, back off. Otherwise, really press this part of your body down into the earth. 30 seconds left. Imagine your pelvic floor down into the earth. Imagine on the exhale that you're pulling earth energy up into your body, up into your genitals, up into your womb, up into your belly. 10 more. And then on the last one, you're going to exhale all the way out and hold it. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, big inhale in, exhale all the way out and hold it. Again, let the music die. Hold it out, hold it out, hold it out, hold it out. And feel down into that part of your body. Feel into the infinite space between your navel and your perineum, the space of reproduction, the space of creation, the deepest space of creation. The mind is a portal to the infinite, the heart is a portal to the infinite, and this space, this dantian, this womb space is a portal to the infinite. Just hold it, and then in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, big inhale in. Press down into your belly, press down into the earth, press down through your feet, down through your ribs, down through your shoulders, ground, 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 ground. Let everything ground, let everything get heavy. Hold it, and then in 3, 2, 1, big exhale out. Good. Thank you all for playing. Hopefully, you can feel more space there. Yes? Just give me a nod if you can feel like there's just more space in that part of your body. We want more space in that part of our body for obvious reasons. Okay. So the title of this call is Healing Disconnection. And there's a couple different ways to approach this. One we could call a more therapeutic approach, right? Which involves discussion and dialogue and other sort of forms of repair, nonviolent communication, imago dialogue, all sorts of communication techniques, and we'll get into some of those because I think those are incredibly important. But when we talk about disconnection, we have to talk about a heart disconnection, a body disconnection, because we can have all the repair conversations we want, and if there isn't a heart resonance and a body resonance that goes along with them, nothing is going to feel real. It's not going to be received. So, as I get into working with you, and I'd like to work with as many of you as I can, I'm going to remind you about things like breath, things like heart softness, things like eye softness. I'm going to remind you that nervous systems co-regulate in the slow. Healing happens in the slow. It doesn't happen when we're speaking really fast and trying to make our point and trying to be right and trying to wait for the other one to shut up so we can say what we really think and feel. Healing does not happen there. Right? Healing happens in the slow. And And I guess if there was one other point, I'll probably have a few of these. But if there's one other point I want you to take from this call, it's that healing happens in the slow, right? And as we know, when things get heated and disconnection happens, it's almost always as things speed up. Yeah. As things speed up. So we've got to slow our nervous systems down in order to feel repair. Many of you know, and then I'll shut up and we'll start getting into it. Many of you know I have 3 pillars to sacred intimacy. The first is the practice of intimacy, which is the recognition of our sameness, our shared humanity, our shared essence, right? The shared divinity. So our shared humanity, shared divinity. Lots of different practices for that. Okay? The second one, which we're going to be working on a lot today, is this devotion to your partner's nervous system. Devotion to your partner's nervous system, which means that you are a stand for their healing. Your body, your breath, your practice is about healing before content, right? Repair, like nervous system down regulation before making your point. And this is fucking hard. This is hard because everything in our defense, apparatus is saying, make my point, make my stand, set my boundary, hold my ground, don't let them do that. Don't be a doormat, right? Everything in our defense apparatus says, go. Right? And so this second piece is really about down regulating your own nervous system, down regulating their nervous system, then getting into content. It doesn't take that long. A minute, 2 minutes, some words of praise, some words of safety, some I'm not going anywhere, baby. I love you. We're going to work this out. I'm with you. Tell me what you need. I want to hear you. Right? Just that, with some slow breaths and some touch, down regulates their nervous system and your nervous system. And now we can get into the content from a down regulated place. Everybody get what I'm saying? Yeah, because this content first and then expecting your partner's nervous system to stay down regulated is just one of the biggest fucking mistakes we make all the time. And think of how much time we waste, because we're fighting all night, all day, the next day, right? Weeks later, we're still playing our revenge, right? For you Scorpios out there. And when we could have spent 2, 3, 4 minutes down regulating each other's nervous system and then, lovingly and checking in. So we're going to work on this practice because this is the one everybody wants to do, the intimacy part and the sexual polarity part, which is the third pillar. Everyone wants to jump right to the hot sex piece. Great. That's great. And that's certainly needed. But if your nervous systems are frazzled, you're going to have beautiful sex and then you're going to fight. If that's the fight fuck thing that, we hear a lot about, so I've certainly been in that and been guilty of that. So what we're going to work on here is really second pillar practices. Okay. So if you have a question, you can go ahead and raise your virtual hand and Ms. Vega we're going to choose, I'd love to hear from some couples because I really would like to work with some people in real time and give some tools in real time. So don't be shy if you are here. You're here with 200 of your closest new friends from around the world. Let's dive into the most intimate parts of your relationship. So we'll go back and forth between masculine practitioners, feminine practitioners, and couples.
Okay. Chloe.
Hey, John.
Hi, Chloe. Good to see you again.
Yeah, good to see you too. So my life has changed drastically since we last spoke. I did like a 7-month masculine cleanse and found out a lot about myself and
I would
now
imagine.
partnership with someone who's truly blown me away in terms of his capacity to be on mission and hold space for me. And we're both living in a different country. We met here. And so we're kind of putting our lives together here at the same time. And because of that, I think things are going quicker than either of us really imagined that they would.
Yeah.
And so for him, we've talked about how it kind of overwhelms his nervous system to think I was on mission, like nothing was stopping me. I have a specific goal, partially getting custody of his son, partially financial with his business, and that has to come first. To have a partner, and now it's her and her 2 cats, and I'm dealing with all of this, and I understand that overwhelm. And for me, it's trusting this person who is showing up in every way, even communicating his overwhelm, while at the same time trying to manage my hormones that are like baby, 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 baby. Like that's, and he knows that that's where my mind has and my body has been and is. And so I'm wanting some help with what I can do, like for practices soothing that within my own nervous system, because I know that that's going to add to the overwhelm for him. He already knows where I'm at. He doesn't.
Yeah, let's take a custody battle and a purpose and add baby to it. That's gonna relax any man. Yeah,
exactly.
So yeah. Okay. So you were asking for practices for yourself and practices for him, to work with him.
For soothing him,
Yeah. And how long have you guys been together?
3 months, and we're now moving in together.
Okay, so 3 months. And a couple things to just say, right? The feminine impulse for I'm gonna say female, right? Like the impulse to have a baby can be a very, I'm not a woman, I don't have that impulse. I don't know that. I can just intuit from feeling y'all, but that doesn't mean that I know what the fuck I'm talking about. So please, let me just say that first. But I can talk about what it feels like in a man's body to have a woman who wants that very badly in relationship. It can be intoxicating, overwhelming, scary, all those things. So there's nothing wrong with, with owning that desire, fully owning that desire. Of course not. Of course not. It's beautiful to bring life into the world. Of course, it's like one of the most beautiful desires on the planet. And I think your impulse is right. How do I really sit with this and be in my desire without being attached to the outcome? So the thing about desire is that the cure to desire is the desire itself, not how it's going to be fulfilled. And since you and I have had a couple conversations, and I think you'll know what I'm talking about here, you being in the desire, like full in the desire of impregnate me. I mean, first of all, that's super hot, and second of all, it's like it's just a beautiful desire, right? I mean, you guys can play with this in bed. There's all kinds of things you can do with this to make this really, really hot and really beautiful. Once you get attached to the how and the when of a desire, you're no longer in the desire. You're no longer in the desire. So since you asked me, I would say your practice, I would invite you to really be in the desire, which is which is a nervous system challenge. and just let that desire be like, I'm just in this. There's no pressure. I trust our timing. I trust, you know what I mean? Like, you know, a good thing to say to a masculine being, you know, is I trust our timing, right? I trust our timing. You know where I am. You can feel this in me. You can like, I'm, you know, and unless you're clear, you have like, we've got to, you know, I need to be pregnant in 6 months. If that's the case, then you need to communicate that to him and let him decide if that's what it is, or if it's like, you know, sometime in the next year, you know, sometime the next year and a half, you know, like I would give yourselves time to feel what it's like to live together.
Yeah.
Just a word of caution, 3 months ain't shit. I mean, it's beautiful. It's the most beautiful part of our relationship. You know what I mean? Like those first 3-6 months, great. And y'all, you don't even know each other yet.
Well, I should add, we've basically been living together since day one. We're just now officially like getting a place. Like we've been living with me, but we're getting a place together now.
I know, it doesn't matter. You still bear 3 months and there's nothing wrong with it, except I'm just going to be the voice of reason. Like you really don't know each other until you commit. Then all of our lovely family history stuff starts to come out. Then the real work begins. Now I've committed to having a baby with you, to moving in with you, to getting married to you. Now triune brain turns on and goes, oh, this is not romance, this is family. And then the real fun begins. Yeah. So the practice I would offer you is to steep in the desire. And Jen, we have a masterclass on the virtual workshop just on this, just on desire. So you can, for those of you who aren't part of the virtual workshop, you can join for a week and watch this masterclass and then peace out if you don't want to stay. But Jen will put the link to it. And there's literally a 2.5 hour masterclass on desire and what it's like to steep in desire and what that practice is.
Let's officially welcome you all to.
Well, hi, Ted. That's Ted. That's your practice. For him, I would continually honor his need to take it slow, because it's a healthy need.
Yeah.
You know, as a, you know, he's already a father. The decision to become a father is a huge decision. He should take his time. In fact, if he's ready to go right away, I wouldn't trust him. I actually wouldn't trust him. If he's like, it's actually good when I hear you like, hey, I'm a little overwhelmed here. Let's land, let things settle. You've got time. Because you do, you do. You're healthy, you've got time. It's not as urgent as your body's telling you. And again, coming from a man, tell me to fuck off. But you know what I mean? But there is some time for you guys to get to know each other and to settle in as partners.
Yeah. I think like the wiser part of me knows that and feels that. Yeah. And the story that tries to creep in is, okay, well, you have time, but if you go down 1.5 years in this road, then there's a lot less time if this is, you know what I mean? So
is that true? Is that true? Is that true? So bring your fears to him and to the mat, because really you're just dealing with fear.
Yeah.
Right. I'm afraid I'm not going to get what I want. I'm afraid I'm not going to be a mother. I'm afraid I'm not going to, get the right partnership. I'm afraid. Bring those fears to the mat. I have tons of practices. There's tons of practices for moving fear, dealing with fear, et cetera, et cetera. And then don't take all of them to him. Don't expect him to have to hold all those because he's already busy. Bring it to the mat, bring it to the divine, bring it to your girlfriends, and then bring him the highlight. I'm having fear. I've been having fear about time, and we know we've got time, but I'm having this fear, but I worked it out. Now I feel good, and I trust our timing. If you want to care for his nervous system.
Yeah, which I do.
Right? If you're, yeah, which I think you do, right? Like you could be like, you know, baby, you know, and his nervous system's going to get all lit up. And who knows if he'd even be able to make a baby in that state, right? So our bodies are very weird. When we're in sympathetic nervous system, sometimes we can't get pregnant.
Yeah.
Right. And it's so the last thing I'll say is be in the mystery school of it. Be in the mystery school, own your desire, you know, work on, you know, being a real ally to him and trust.
Thank you.
Yeah. Good luck. Good luck.
Okay, we're going to go with a couple. Valerie?
Hello?
Uh,
1 second.
Oh.
Yeah, we're unmuted.
Yes, you are. Hello. Where are you calling in from?
We're both Dutch, so near Amsterdam.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah, great.
The camera's a bit vague. Give me 1 second.
David raised the hand on my behalf, so I'll be giving the stage to him in what way.
1 second.
Okay.
Just to understand the intervention. Is it about since this is new to us to put a question forward, or are you just gonna use us as guinea pigs for a sort of?
Well, it depends. It depends. Like if you have something specific that we can work on, then I would use you as guinea pigs. You know, to work on it. Yeah. If not, this isn't an intervention in the sense of I'm scooping you up and taking you to rehab. But anyway, how can I help?
I need to work on.
Yeah, well, a little bit. Like there's something active for us. So it's we've done I think a lot of like relationship therapy, couple therapy.
Mhm.
And we did therapy. So we applied like the reflection exercise. So the moment like we get into like a dynamic which is hurtful, like it, you know, like it activates certain like child parts of me and her, like get into like a really shouty, poisonous, toxic kind of dynamic.
Yeah.
And for the majority of fights, we've managed to get out of our limbic system and get ourselves back to present by simply reflecting how it made me feel, what happened, or made her feel when something happened. She reflects back.
So let me start with the first thing. Nothing makes you feel anything, right? When you feel the difference, when you said that, I thought, I felt, and I wanted to, versus you made me feel, or that made me feel. Just I know I'm not trying to be nitpicky, but these things are really important because when I say you made me, I'm villainizing you. Especially important for the feminine to the masculine. When she says you made me feel this, or that made me feel that, you're now in the role of villain.
Yeah. And
whereas if she's,
what was your nuance to it? So we say the second thing. So we never like say like you made me feel. We say like, hey, what just happened made me feel like. But what was your nuance?
The nuance is when you did that, I had this thought.
Okay.
Right? I had these thoughts. When you didn't show up on time the way you said, I thought, wow, he doesn't respect me. I thought, oh, he doesn't care. I thought, I can't trust him. I thought, this is always going to be this way. I thought, fuck him. I thought, whatever, right? And then I felt hurt. I felt angry. And I wanted to cancel our date. I wanted to send you mean texts. I wanted to, tell you what an asshole you were, right? So you feel the difference. Like one unpacks it into thoughts, feelings, and impulses, right? The other is kind of a blanket statement that doesn't necessarily take responsibility for the feelings and the nuances and the difference between what you think and what you feel.
Okay.
That makes
Yeah.
sense? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I'm sorry to interrupt, but I want to make sure everybody gets that, because I feel the two statements that drive me and my friend Kendra crazy are I feel like, and it made me feel, right? Both of those are inaccurate and actually don't really get to the meat of what's happening. So please continue. What's the issue you guys keep running into? Let's just start with that.
I think now it's just sort of there's a lot of lack of safety, I think, in our way of relating, which is now translating into a lot of unsafety in intimacy, or a lack of as a result.
Yeah.
So trying to navigate that, and I think I'm more on where I'm more trying to focus on the actual intimacy, sex part, that we need to fix that, versus I think David's more still on the nervous system part, which what I hear so far might be the right way to start. So
yeah. What
how to approach this.
So do you have a particular, does one of you, let me go with her, David, if that's okay. Do you have something like something that you're still charged about or have a resentment about, something he did or said?
Not specifically at the moment.
Okay. Do you, David?
Yeah.
That's a yes. Okay, great. Okay. So turn and face each other. Turn and face each other. Yep. Turn and face each other. Okay. And look into each other's eyes. You're going to be great. Look into each other's eyes. So don't say anything, David, except I'm just going to be like Cyrano, and I'm just going to give you some things to say. And as you say these things, you're going to be deepening your breath and looking into her eyes with soft eyes. So just say, things like, I'll let you say things like, I love you. I'm not going anywhere. I want to work this out with you.
I love you.
I want it. Yeah.
And I'm not going anywhere. And I'm not leaving.
Yeah. And just breathe with her. Valerie, can you remember to breathe? So, yeah. And so I'm not going anywhere.
I'm not going.
Yeah. And when you feel, just stay with that for a second, and let her know through your eyes, I'm not going anywhere. I love you. I want to be with you. I want us to work this out. And when you can feel her nervous system, there you go. When you can feel her nervous system just drop a little bit, you can say something like, I have something that still hurts me that I would love to clear. Is that okay? And it might not be okay in this moment. So if it's not, that's okay too. We won't do it. But at least I gave you guys the setup. So so she's not quite ready yet, right? She's still really tight. So I know it's okay. So how about putting your hands on her shoulder? Stay with her. Just brushing her shoulders or brushing her heart, touch her in a way that you feel you can okay, good. At least she's smiling there. So is it okay if he touches you?
This is the good spot. No, it's her hip.
Her hip. Okay. So touch a part of her that's not injured, of course, but grounding her legs, pressing down on her legs is really important because that grounds her. So just press down on her legs and breathe with her. And wait a minute or two. Yeah. Does that feel okay, Valerie?
Yeah, it's fine.
Would you want more pressure, less pressure?
A little more pressure.
Yeah, more pressure. Yeah. So it's good for you to know. What's that? This is good for you to know, man. This is her.
I put her the exercise.
Yeah, it's your.
Sorry.
So just stay with her. Right? So just stay with her. Feel her nervous system. Feel the spine, feel her heart, feel her nervous system. and use your breath and use your practice, press down on her thighs, like literally press down on her thighs and really like, yeah, there you go. And let her know, like, I love you, I'm here, I'm with you. And that might take 5 minutes. I'm not going anywhere. I think you're wonderful. You're my favorite person. I love our life together. I want us to get through this. Just words that are around staying. Words that are around, you know, I'm sorry for the ways I've hurt you. Yeah, yeah. So this would be the setup, David. This would be the setup. And you don't go into the content until you literally feel her nervous system drop. So have you felt her nervous system drop a little bit?
She's more open.
Yeah, yeah. And you know, she's in front of a bunch of people, and you know what I mean? She, you know, I kind of made her do, yeah, I kind of made her do this.
She's an introvert, so
Yeah. Well, that's something important to know. So she's gonna need, like, what, Valerie, what felt good out of that little 2-minute practice? Did it feel good to have his hands on your thighs? Did it feel good to have him speak to you that way? Did it feel good to, like, what felt good? Okay.
Felt especially that he took the time for it, since he's quite a moving and busy person, always moving around with ADHD. So I think having like having his full presence for a few minutes was quite special like that.
Great. So breath, I mean, even if what you guys did was to say, make appointments to clear shit. Like, hey, I'm still hurting about the other day. Can we get together tonight for 20 minutes and clear it? And that would be how you start. You make an appointment, then you spend some time just breathing together, touching each other, giving each other words of safety. You can give them back to him too, Valerie. Like, I love you too. I'm not going anywhere. I know we're going to work this out. I'm on your team. I want to know what you need. I want to hear what you need. Like, these are all things that downregulate somebody's nervous system so that they can receive the real issue. So I'll make a 3-step process here. Make an appointment, like, hey, this is still bothering me. Can we talk about this later tonight? Right? And she'll go yes or no. No, I'm going out. Yes, I think, or no, I have a really hard day. Can we wait till tomorrow morning? You know, you guys find a time that feels right. And then second piece is you do what you just did. Like, caress her face, stroke her heart, like really go in with the intention of loving her first and getting heard second. Because you won't get heard at all if it's the other way around. And that's the real issue, right? Most of the time, we're not even fighting about the fucking thing that we were fighting about. We're fighting because we don't feel heard. We're fighting because we don't feel seen. We're fighting because we don't feel like we're safe. That's why we fight. So make an appointment. That gives them a heads up, right? She knows, okay, like, he's probably still mad about this thing. And all right, I'm ready to hear him. So we need to get consent to be heard about resentments. Like, we have to get consent. Like, this is still hurting me. I would love to share it with you and clear it. I want to move past this. Do I have your consent to bring this upset to you? And when? And then you do the second piece, which you just did. And then the third piece is that practice I gave you, which we'll put into the chat. Jen will put it into the chat. When you ... because be specific. Can't be you always do this or you never do that, or that's just fucking, right? Be specific. When you ... said that thing when we were fighting. I thought this, I felt this, and I wanted to do this. And then the fourth piece of that is a request. Can I ask that you don't talk to me that way? Can I ask that you don't say, you don't cuss at me, or you don't, can I ask that you don't talk to me that way? Right. And then that creates the foundation of safety from which all kinds of sexual energy can flow. But until there's a feeling of safety, it's really hard to trust the intimacy. So how does that formula feel, David?
Yeah, good. Like I was about to say, like I think I like the piece of delay, I think the most. And I think by saying, like relating it to my, like by linking into like what I was thinking, like it feels like less emotionally charged, because we now apply it as in almost as an attack kind of way. Like, like we know this technique and it does work, but it's almost like we're priming each other, like, oh, like here's the shit coming again. And we know this, how to do it like therapeutically almost.
Yeah.
But it's still loaded and still toxic. And
yeah,
the only thing I am somewhat worried about is like, how do you prevent it becoming a trick? So like the first 5 to 10 times with everything we've done really work well, until it becomes somewhat of a templatey kind of trick. So like how do I?
Why would it be a trick versus why would it be a trick and not a practice?
I mean more like how to like and it might just be me, or it might be us.
I think it is you. I think it's you're revealing your worldview, man, which is not trusting.
That's
right?
true.
That you're tricking her and she's tricking you, and you guys are tricking each other and kind of fucking with each other. So, it's a practice, it's a communication practice that's been tried and true for 30, 40 years. I'm adding the yogic piece. I'm adding the piece of slow your breath down, put your, and it feels like you guys have a fair amount of repair to do. Just feeling you, right? And so it might take 30 days of, 2 or 3 times a week, really committing to repair the wounds. It's like, how can you get on the floor and dance together when you each have a broken leg?
That's right.
And yeah. And so I would take a period of time and be like, look, we fucked each other up. I don't know how long you've been together, right? But we've injured each other. Start there. Like, we've hurt each other. And be honest about, wow, like I really hurt you and you've really hurt me. And we need to take 30, 60 days to just really focus on becoming masterful at the art, because it is an art of repair. And maybe you try some, I have some stuff on the virtual workshop. We have some things, some other practices. That, imagotherapy. I love imagotherapy as a way to do it, although it's pretty intense. But the steps that I gave you, I would look at them as a way to build a foundation of safety.
Thanks.
And
Thanks
if
a
you're
lot.
using it to manipulate each other, well, then that's on you. It should be about love. I love her. I love him. I want him to know that. I don't want all this other stuff in the way of love.
No, like, and the reason why I say trick is like my tolerance for tension is a bit lower than Val. Like the moment I use it, like I use it genuinely, and not as a trick or a tool.
Attention or tension?
Tension.
Attention.
No,
Oh,
sorry,
tension. Yeah. Yeah.
My tolerance for tension, in essence, somewhat is a bit lower. So I apply it a bit more often, like repeating and that's the reason why I don't see it as a trick, but I might be misphrasing it. Like what happens if and that has happened in the past, like because the understanding of like my world is difficult to fully capture in a sense.
Yeah.
Sometimes confused with Valerie as a trick, or like that dynamic comes in.
So you're setting her up to win, brother. what I'm getting you say is like, hey, my internal world is tricky. My internal world, I don't do well with tension. You know, it's hard for me. My internal world is, what I think I hear you saying is, my internal world is a lot, and I want to be able to share it with her. Is that fair?
Yeah, in times of need and tension, definitely.
Yeah, like all of us, man. Like all of us. Yeah. So you need to set her up to win. And setting her up to win is setting her nervous system up to be able to receive your upset, right? So you're still like, Valerie, where do you feel him right now? Do you feel him here, or do you feel him here?
No, a bit more up here.
Yeah, you're in your head, bro. And you are trying to strategize a future moment without a connection to your body. So I would say your personal work, us ahead of her, away from her, is to go from here to here. And how do you do that? Breath is one thing. You're just going to hear me repeat that again and again. Learning all kinds of different breath practices. Breath to slow your nervous system, breath to down-regulate your nervous system, breath to open your nervous system. Meditation practices, like you have your own work to do to down-regulate your own nervous system from sympathetic to parasympathetic. Do you know what I mean by those things? Yeah. And that's on you.
I know.
Yeah. And when you do that, she will be more available to receive you. Okay. So I know there's only so much I can give you in a 10-minute conversation, but hopefully some of that was helpful, and hopefully some of that you can take into it. I'm doing a workshop in London next month. You can come online and participate in the whole workshop online, and maybe that would be a nice gift for you guys to give yourself. No pressure, but I just want to offer it because we're in the same time zone as you. And I think focusing on repair and intimacy practice and really giving yourself an immersion might be good.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay. All right. Now we have all kinds of brave couples. Okay. I'm sorry, I can't answer questions in brief manner, right? There's a lot of deep stuff going on. So who's next?
Eric is next.
Hi, John. How you doing?
Great, Eric. How you doing, man? Good to see you.
I'm doing okay. Nice seeing you. The question I have is, I'm looking for tools to kind of check on what I'm projecting and giving off. And the background to this is my long-term partner and I are in a pretty bad spot. And when I go to see her, which is not frequently, I feel really good because I'm going to pick the kids up and I feel relaxed. I take a couple deep breaths, so I feel like I'm in a good place. Her reaction for a little while has been, and I think she would agree with this, like immediate tightening, closing, and kind of hostility. And when we have talked, because we're not communicating a lot, she, I think, has indicated that she's getting that from me, that I think that it's kind of a reflection, and that's why I'm looking for, because I don't feel that. Like, I feel good in my body. Like, I feel relaxed. I'm taking a couple deep breaths and feeling grounded before I knock on the door, but that's not how it's being received. So I'm trying to figure out, am I kind of deluding myself? Is there something I could do to really ground myself better?
Well, you make such a beautiful point, man, which is she's making up shit that's not true for you, and then you're making up shit that's not true for her, and then you guys are relating from those projected positions, which is so normal. Like, this happens in fact, I think projections are the #1 killer of relationship. I think you feel this way, and then I'm going to punish you for how I think you feel, whether it's true or not, right? Or I'm going to close, or I'm going to resent. And so I just love that you're bringing you out. That was the question you started with, is how do I check my projections? Because if everybody did that, it would make such a huge difference. And I'll give you just a couple. Again, there's only so much I can do in 5 minutes, but I'll give you a couple things. First of all, you're just because I know you were in one of my programs, like you're a dense dude, not dense, but just like your nervous system is dense, and you're like, so you may think I'm happy, I'm open. She may not, obviously that's not registering. So you may have to literally double it, like big smile. I'm so happy to see you. You look beautiful today. Thank you for being such a beautiful mother to our children. You know, all what you might have to double what you think is a 7 or an 8 in order to get to a 7 or an 8 for her. So that's the first piece. You might try that and see if it works. The second thing is, when it does come time to communicate, to say just the simple phrase, I'm making up. I'm making up that you're mad at me. I'm making up that you're angry with me. And I feel, when I think that, I get reserved. So when I think that, not it makes me, but I'm making up that you are angry with me. And when I think that, it kind of hurts, and I feel cautious around you. You know, it's a little turn, it's a little nuance in language, but it's really artful to be able to phrase it that way. So I'm making up, I have a story. Those are two really good ways to take the projection and put it front and center. And you could even add more to it. You could say, I'm having a story, and this is my story. I'm not saying this is what you're doing at all, but I'm having a story that you're angry and upset with me. And now when I think that, I feel like nervous being around you, and I don't want to be nervous. I want to be loving and kind. Is that true? Are you angry with me? Then there's a whole other thing to do, right? But at least you're clearing the projection piece. Does that feel workable?
There's nothing left to lose. So yes.
I mean, I guess at this point, you know, and you might, you know, because you are co-parenting and in a separation, there might be repair sessions to do. Like you may schedule and say, hey, you know, we both have repair, we both have things to say. Let's give it 30 days and to just like, you know, and then after 30 days, let's sit down for an hour or two and hear each other out, where you set up a structure of really clearing things, you know, after a little time for the dust to settle. And in the interim, man, I mean, this is hard. Like, this is heartbreaking. Like, this is your family. This is your family. And so, you know, I want to honor that. This is your children, you know, your wife of many years. And I want to honor that. This is hard. And I want to honor the courage to just, you know, show up here and ask the question. And anyway, I hope that some of those are helpful, and you know, just blessings to you and you're the mother of your children. Yeah,
They are. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Eric. It was good to see you.
Yeah. So the projection piece is so crucial when we talk about repair. And so at the basis of all of these questions is awareness, right? Emotional awareness, like, you know, body awareness. Like, where am I? Am I here? Because if I'm here, she's not going to trust me as much as if I'm here. I'm talking mainly to the men. Like, if my breath is deep and my heart is relaxed and my shoulders are down and I'm feeling the earth, I am innately more trustable in that moment. And when I'm more trustable, I'm more attractive. And when I'm more trustable, I'm safer. And again, I'm speaking to the men. But this is the same for her. Like when she's here, like he's thinking, oh shit, like, I'm about to get devoured, right? And it's different. There's nothing wrong with being devoured by the feminine. It's just you want to be devoured from here. Like you want to be devoured from here, like her whole body from her perineum to her throat opens up and devours you because, it's her heart that's having to say something to you. Same thing. When we are relating from here, we're likely relating from projection, story, and history. When we slow it down, and I want to just keep coming back, healing happens in the slow. So when Eric shows up on that door, hello, Miranda. Can you? Yes, thank you. Eric shows up on that door, takes a few long, deep breaths, looks into, his wife's eyes, and says, "Hi." He slowed it down. That's where healing can happen. So again, if you take anything from this, it's to really trust the slow. Trust the slow. Okay. And yes, thank you, Eric. All right, who's next?
Shelley.
Hi, John. I want to thank
Hello,
you.
Shelley.
Thank you for writing the book that you just wrote. I read it.
Thank you.
I've read it twice already, and I cried the first time I read it, which is hilarious because obviously I'm not the man, but I cried because it was just so touching, and definitely because it's something that I really, really desire in my man. So I've been with him for 20 years. We've had flipped polarity, even though we've been very aware of David Data's work for like 15 years and everything else.
Yeah.
You're touching me by talking about being slow, because I am a fast talker and I own my own business. So there's a lot of go energy in my life. But I'm wondering, you're talking about being here, which is kind of what I was going to ask you, was I need to know more how to get out of that spot and get more into here, into being in my feminine. Because even when I'm trying to listen to my body, my head's going, okay, so here's what you do. You feel this, you do that, you look at textures, And I feel my partner and I just separated about a month ago, and we're living in separate houses. And I feel like maybe this is part of it, is just that I still have so much of the go energy and the fast talking, and I'm struggling with it.
Yeah, and look, you have all this momentum, years and years of success in the real world from being the fast talking entrepreneur, boss babe. You know what I mean? Like you've won in that arena, right? And that's great. That's great. However, that energy doesn't translate into a pole. Now, this is only if you want to be in a polarized relationship where he's in the masculine most of the time and you're in the fem. Not everybody wants that. But if you do, that skill set doesn't translate.
Right.
So since you asked me, I'll give you a couple things. Get on the mat and practice breath, movement, pleasure. Breath, movement, pleasure. If you're not, it's like saying, I want to be a world-class pianist, but I only practice my piano once a month. It's just not going to fly. So to be an artist of love and an artist of pleasure, and you know what I mean? Like you literally have to paint every day, or you have to be on the mat, or you have to sing every day or play every day. And so, I would encourage you in this time while you're separated to, again, I have a bunch of stuff on the virtual workshop that's, you can download for free, you can play for free for a week and just get whatever you want. But there's a ton of pleasure practice. There's a ton of grief practice. There's a ton of movement practice. And if not with me, find a teacher, a woman, because the practices on the virtual workshop are taught. A lot of the women's practices are taught by women, not by me.
I'm a member of the virtual workshop, so I've listened to some of those, and I do have a feminine embodiment coach. Her name is Anna Rova. She's mentioned you actually several times. So I feel like I'm doing everything.
So listening to them, listening to them is not the same thing as
doing.
Practicing. Yes. So yes. So it's not like you're not listening to it while you're driving. You are literally on the mat, candles lit, on the sheepskin, nothing happening, phone turned off. I am dedicating myself to my body, which for a woman in particular, for a feminine being in particular, is a massive love act. Right? So you love yourself by honoring your pleasure. You love yourself by opening your body and revealing your heart. You love your feminine, let's call it your feminine, right? You know how to honor your masculine,
Yes.
right? You show up, you take care of shit, right? You know how to do that. But you honoring your feminine will require you to do something different and commit to it the way you've committed to your business. If that's what you want.
It is. Yes, it
Yeah.
is.
So
But
I
my partner after this many years is now kind of saying, I'm not sure I really want to be playing in that polarity of masculine and feminine, but I'm extremely clear that I really want to.
Yeah.
Really
Well, you seem clear, right? And so he might not be the partner moving forward. But my guess is if you show up with a body full of pleasure, he'll be just fine. Right? He'll make do with your, dripping pleasure-filled, heart-open body, right? He'll make it work. So we'll see about that. But this is for you. It's not for him. This is for you, right? Like, okay, so that's one practice. Set up your own daily practice that honors your body. One last one I'll get. Practice taking a breath in between every sentence. That is hard.
Okay. Yeah.
So let's just play with me for a second here. So
That'll be difficult.
Okay, that will be difficult.
That will be
Breathing in.
difficult.
Could you guys feel her more in the second time she said that? Yeah, just a little bit. And that was just a baby breath. Like if you really breathe down into your pelvic floor and spoke slower, you're going to be felt down here. It's like you're talking from your yoni. You're talking from your cervix. You're talking from your womb. So you're going to feel me a lot different than if I'm saying, hey, okay, Shelly, let's go. Let's fucking go, Shelly. Right? You're gonna feel me a lot different.
Oh my God, but that's been my life for so long. Yes, okay.
Okay, well, we can, it depends on what you're committed to, my love. I imagine when you commit to something, you make it happen.
I do. Thank you.
So practice that you can do all day long. And I had to learn it. So I'm giving you something that I had to learn. I had to learn to speak more slowly, to take breaths every sentence or two, and to let my words carry weight. And it works the same for you. Your voice can be a soothing, healing, and this goes for all of you in this topic. And this is a never-ending topic, believe me. I mean, we're just scratching it, right? Your voice can heal your partner's nervous system without them having any idea. Right? So those are two things to work on. Jump on since you're part of the virtual workshop, jump on an office hours call and tell me how it's going.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Yeah. Best of luck, Shelly.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go with Drew. Is this a couples question? Thumbs up if it is. Great, perfect.
Yep.
Hey, what's up, John? You're the GOAT, man. Happy to be here.
Thank you, Drew.
So the question we have, and Nikki can jump in and fill this in too. When we're having sex, trying to be intimate, and
Mhm.
Nikki's nervous system shuts down due to fear, even if we're going slow and doing the best that we can, what's a way
Yeah.
that we can reintroduce? Well, first, like stop, address her nervous system, and reintroduce that sexual energy.
Oh, I'm so glad you brought this up. I'm
don't-
so glad.
Sexual energy between us. We're trying to cultivate that and cultivate polarity.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so yeah, what's a way that we can do that?
Great. Hi, Nikki. So just so I'm clear, you guys will be making love, and then you'll have like a closure.
Yeah.
So is that closure because he's doing something that you don't like, or is it just like come out of nowhere, or some combination of the two?
It could be a combination of the two. Like sometimes if he's trying to push me a little bit further than I'm opening up or faster than I'm opening up,
Yeah.
we've gotten a lot better at listening to each other in that. And then sometimes it's like, I almost scare myself about how I am opening up because in the past I haven't been able to open up. So it's definitely a nervous system thing for me there.
Yeah. Awesome. So let me address both of those things, because who knows which one will come up, right? So let's say he's going faster, he loves you, you're beautiful, he like, of course he's getting turned on, right? So his work will be to, again, slow the fuck down, right? Like really, the practice I would give you, and my apologies for anybody who wasn't ready for sexual yoga practice, but you guys are asking, so I'm just going to give it. The practice I would give you is to enter her, right? And don't move for 30 minutes. You won't make it 30 minutes. You might make it 10. You press your belly into her belly. You press your heart and your solar plexus into her solar plexus. You press your heart into her heart. You look into her eyes, you put your hand behind her neck and really hold her tight and just breathe. And both of you are going to want to move. Don't. She's going to want to move and you're like, stop. You're going to want to move, right? And you don't let yourself. And you just, like, she's smiling. So apparently this is okay. This okay to your nervous system?
Yeah.
You just hold that shit. Like you her deeper than she's ever been without moving. You know what I mean? Like pin her with your heart, with your breath, with your belly, like it's all there. And you'll have this experience and of really like meeting each other's nervous systems, right? You might laugh, you might cry, she might have a cervical. Anything's possible in that experience, and to train your nervous systems to really sync up that way will be a really, in my intuitive hit here, would be a really beautiful practice for you. Does that feel okay to you? Yeah. Okay. So that's the first. Go ahead, Drew. You got something?
We're not like having sex right now. Like we're not.
Oh no. I see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
well, when that opens up, what
do that even without penetration?
Same thing without penetration.
Awesome. Cool.
Yeah. Maybe naked, maybe you're in your underwear.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. And let her tell you, like when she's ready, when she trusts that you guys have got enough of a connection for that practice, then she'll let you know.
Awesome.
Okay. So that's the first one. Now, again, this is for when you are having sex or when you are in heavy petting makeout, right? Okay. So Nikki, let's say you're in this thing where everything feels good. He feels good. You feel good. You're opening, you're feeling your heart open. And then that thing comes like a, okay. Right. So oftentimes what women in particular will do in that is we'll either lock up and stop completely or will perform. Right? Feels like you do, some combination, right? Or perform. Like, I'm going to pretend I don't want to close up. I'm going to I'm going to perform.
Yeah.
So neither of those work. Mm-hmm. What does work is to go into the earth.
Okay.
So what does that mean? That means you might be like in a lot of pleasure, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden comes and you're like, ah! Like you literally go into the, right. You don't necessarily stop. Maybe you slow down, right? But you go into the like, maybe you shake him. Maybe you like let all this anger come out. Maybe you like make a sound, but you definitely go into the not away from it.
I like that.
Right. And that's how you clear it. And then I promise you, it'll clear probably fast, like 30 seconds, a minute. And then you'll have this thing and maybe you'll cry and then maybe they'll be turned on again. And maybe you guys continue. And then 5 minutes later, it happens again.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're like, you go into it again. Right. And he knows that this might happen now. So he's going to be like, okay, oh, this is one of those moments. So when she does that, Drew, you've got to be like a full blown yes.
Mm.
Yes, baby. Fuck yeah. Give it to me. Yes. Yes. Let me feel it. Like, let her pound on your chest. and okay, again, she seems to like that idea. So, so keep being a yes to her going into those moments where her she has no control over those things.
Mm.
It's actually good. What it means, Nikki, is that your body's clearing something, right? Because of love.
Yeah.
Right? Because there's love. And because you're starting to feel safe to clear something, your body's we want to clear. It's like, how when you get a splinter and your body like naturally wants to move the splinter out? That's how we are.
That's a really good point.
That's how our bodies are. Yeah. So it's not a bad thing. You're not doing anything wrong. It's like, okay, I'm opening and my body's trying to clear the splinter.
Yeah.
My splinter of mistrust.
Yeah. I think when those times would come up, I would just be like, okay, I need to go back to my breath and go back to being present. That just wasn't helping me clear anything. It was almost like we kept doing that and we'd be like, okay, we're just gonna stop.
No. The feminine needs to move that shit.
Yeah.
Right. So move it, make it a wild expression of your heart.
Yeah.
And because you're moving sexual energy in that moment, it can clear really fast.
Yeah.
Sexual energy is the great cleansing agent. And when we cry, when we move trauma, when we do it in a sexual moment with hearts open and breath and love, fuck, man, that's a bowl of healing right there.
Sweet.
That's really helpful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Good. So Drew, now you can let her know, if we do, set her up to win. Like if you do make love again, when you do make love again, say, okay, baby, if something comes up, you want it, you give it to me. I'll stay here with you. I'll be here with you.
What he said.
And yeah. And then you have to follow through, right? Yeah. You can't get so lost in your own pleasure that you're there with her, and just know that you're building, if you do this, you're building a foundation of trust that she can really rely on.
Awesome. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Woo.
All right, guys. Yeah. You're welcome. Thanks for the question. Thank you. Thanks, Drew. All right. I think we got time for one more.
Okay.
Let's do another couple if you don't mind, just because I want to be able to give people things they can take into their relationships.
Ian, can I get a thumbs up if this is a couple question? Great.
Hey, John.
Hey, Ian.
Hey, nice
to see you, man. Yeah, right on.
Yes, so we have a question. We're in a phase in our relationship at the moment where, and Vali may jump in here as well, where we, the kind of the sort of the normal card 3 triggers have been, coming through our space, since pretty early on. We've been imagoing a lot. We've been giving our card 3s a lot, working in this space a lot.
Let me just translate for the people here. Let me translate for the people. Card 3 is your childhood wound, like the thing you wanted from your parents but never got, and the way that shows up in your relationship. Sorry, I just didn't want them to lose us here.
Yeah. So we have that reoccurring in our space, and we're flowing with it for the most part quite nicely. We dialogue a lot, so our space is always really clean. We imago almost every other day, even with little things come up. The moment things come up, we immediately switch to dialogue and clear it, and all these things. So we're practicing really well. And but what we seem to have coming up is also from my side is there's even though there's this cleansing going through the space, and keeping the space clean, I'm finding myself becoming like more and more easily more triggered, I guess, in the recent times. And because there's kind of such a repeat of this happening, we dialogue all the things and we take the space to dialogue the things. But there seems to be like a little bit of a kind of a underlying scar tissue that's sort of starting to build up in the space between us. That's exactly like the name of the call. There's like a subtle sense of kind of becoming a little bit more and more disconnected, even though the space is in general quite clean, and there's a lot of good dialogue happening. So
got it.
Yeah. So
okay, so a couple questions.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask a couple questions, and both you guys can hop in. Usually, when that's happening, there are needs that aren't being met. So usually when scar tissue starts to develop, it's, even though the space is clean, like you're saying, and good job for doing that. Like I know very few people that imago every other day. So, like good on you. Imago dialogue, for those of you who are wondering, and Jen, you can put a link in the chat about that. So, but when their scar tissue starts to develop, it usually means that there's deeper needs that aren't being met. So how does that land? Because I don't know you guys. I'm not sure if that's the sense, like deeper sexual needs, deeper needs for freedom or for commitment or for blah, 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 blah. So when I drop that one in the space, what lands?
Yeah, maybe I can say, yeah, then somehow I do feel sometimes like a longing for more stability in the being of here, like a sense of, I understand that is in a like process right now for many different things, and I witness this in myself, like I don't want neither push this process or make it wrong, because I also understand very much. But for sure, in the dynamic couple, sometimes I can feel like this sense I miss more ground, I would say.
Yeah, great. So you can both, I'm glad you said it that way. You can have a need for more grounded stability and also honor his process. But there has to be a recognition of the need in you, like, and a true, because sometimes what'll happen is we'll kind of diminish our needs in order to honor our partner, which is a very generous and loving thing to do. But that's where the scar tissue starts to develop, right? Because we aren't actually honoring ourselves and therefore honoring the relationship. So you might have a need for more stability. Ian, does that like, can you know what she's talking about?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
like yeah. I'm in a place where I'm.
And then
yeah.
No, go ahead.
Just there's a big topic in my space about grounding in general geographically. Like we've been kind of on the road for a while and without a permanent base, and that's I'm a full blown Cancer, so that tendency in me is really alive. And so while we're not quite super going in that, we are kind of in general going in that direction, but somehow not fast enough for me, and it brings a lot of agitation for me, and I'm constantly like, then there's emotions coming, and it's and so on, and and then that comes off as kind of a passive aggressiveness sometimes towards Vale, and then she feels and then we're in a bit of a this spiral.
So both, it sounds like both of you need stability. So I just have to ask, what the fuck, right? I mean, like, why not why not stay someplace for a few months?
Mhm, mhm. Yeah.
Right? Because we could do all the relational practice or all the sexual practice on top of not having basic needs met, but it doesn't work, right? Because our humanity, the humanity is too strong. Our needs are needs for a reason. It's not just a desire. And I don't know. I mean, I certainly don't want to give you life advice, but it feels like both of you have this need to land someplace for a while. I don't know what that would look like in your current life, but just offering that as a strategy. But above and beyond that, feeling does this feel right? Like the scar tissue you're talking about, does it feel like, are there other needs that also feel important, that are underneath all the dialogues? You keep having the same dialogue about the same thing.
Mhm. I do feel like I resonate very much with the answer, but somehow create almost again a certain fear, because the reality of the things is that for 2 months at least we will not be capable to have a base, and things are also changing so much. So somehow in me there is the longing to create a stability, like to feel him stable also in the changing. So even I know it's a high, but this is why it's also so difficult to express it, because I really do understand it. And how I feel, that.
So wait, let me stop you there. Ian, where is she right?
Oh,
like where could you be more stable? Where aren't you stable in the midst? I mean, you chose this lifestyle, right? Like you chose this. So she's now being your oracle and going, you chose this, motherfucker, but now I need to feel you grounded. Right? So we haven't talked about this, right? But just my sense of you two is that she's being a bit of an oracle. Like you actually do need to, I don't know if it's do an hour of practice. I don't know if it's, spend more time alone in nature. I don't know if it's like, I don't know what the thing would be, but I get the sense that she might be right about something. Does that feel true to you?
Oh, she's super right. Zero argument there. Like I also, I come up with a lot of excuses regarding practice, because of all the movement and stuff. And it's like, okay, now I just left my yoga mat at the last place. And so, and that upsets me. It's like, if I just had my place, my yoga mat wouldn't be left at the last place because we would be in the same place. Anyway, it's just little things that just really get me. And then some days it's like, I'm really good. And it's like, and I am sort of, I wouldn't say transcended or bypassed from the things, but I'm resting in a deeper place. I'm really resting in my core in a deeper place. And I'm able to hold what's alive for me. And then other days it's spilling out, into the relationship space. And so, certainly, I'm doing, I'm practicing an hour a day already, so, but yeah, maybe just
what do you think you need? If you were just gonna like, plant a staff, like I need to spend more time alone in nature, or I need to spend more time with men, or I'm just giving you like, the men's group, highlight, or I need to spend more time in like very deep meditation. What's something that you think you would need?
I feel like I definitely need more brothers. Definitely. I'm out of a men's group for a long time. The last men's group I was in was EMLT back in, a little while ago. I didn't re-enter for various reasons, just because of busyness and create whatever. But yeah, there's just, more brotherhood and to be more fierce about my practice time, and also maybe somehow like having some kind of a structure of like beginning to know that like we're moving towards a geographical base. Like I don't really not really doing anything for that, but somehow it's, it could go into it doesn't know the whole story of our space, but somehow it's like not actually possible somehow. And that's kind of like it's like, if I could just know that like there's just some kind of steps.
Is it not possible, or is it just not possible for 2 months?
For 2 months is definitely not possible. You know, we're teaching
But
a
after
lot.
2 months?
After 2 months, it will, yeah, it will be
Okay.
possible.
Okay. Okay. So it could be just for time's sake, I want to frame this in a certain way. And I'm doing this for you, Ian, because you know, you're in a men's group with me and you know this stuff. So
yeah,
sometimes for the masculine, when we get, I'm going to use the word sloppy. That's the word I use for me, like sloppy, shaky, you know, around the depth of our practice, our integrity, right? And our commitment to our own truth. Our feminine partners will start to lose trust in us, and they will get, you know, they'll start to vibrate in that, it'll start to like occur in her nervous system, like, right? They will give us the feedback. Now, what do we do with it? And what I'm suggesting here, and I would agree with, I'm sorry, your name's Vale?
Valentina. Yes.
Okay. Valentina. Okay. So I would agree with Valentina in the things that she's pointing out. You do need to master to apply more self-mastery to. And I think in doing that, she's actually giving you a great gift. She's actually giving you a really great gift. And so the scar tissue, again, could be some of the need stuff that we talked about, but another piece of scar tissue that's happening underneath is she's losing trust in you.
Yeah.
Because you aren't showing up for your own life in the way that you need to. And she wouldn't be a good partner if she didn't start to say, you know, fuck you, man. Like, you know, like, get on the mat, go be with your brothers, find us a house in 3 months. You know, get on Airbnb today. I mean, she's not doing you justice if she's not pushing you that way. And with all due respect, you're missing the boat if you don't listen. So yeah. So I'll leave it there. And you know, I'm coming from just, you know, full-hearted love. And I was just there 2.5 months ago, where the woman I was with was like starting to get this way. And I'm like, oh, fuck, she's right. I've lost my self-mastery. And we go through these periods, especially in the masculine, where we lose our self-mastery. And our feminine partners should point it out. And if if we have the humility to go, oh, fuck, she's right, then we can address things. Otherwise, we'll be defensive, we'll push back. I don't sense you're doing any of that. You seem very open to it. And now it's just a matter of implementation. Execution, bro. Yeah.
Thank you. And just for the record, that just for transparency, also that's also a part of it is that I am getting defensive sometimes, you know. So I can receive a lot, but that's also a part of where we're butting heads a little bit. It's just like I feel so much that's like I can't take any more like pointers, you know. And then she's like, you know, you're not trusting me, and it's like, yeah, it's true, I'm not. And then I open again.
Well, so let me just coach her a little bit. You get to tell him once. You get to tell him once, like, I'm not trusting, for me to trust you more, and this is a good way for us to end this. For me to trust you with my life, with my heart, my life, and my body, even more, for me to trust you with my life, my heart, and my body, even more, I would need, then lay it out. Hold nothing back. I'd need you to get on the mat every morning. I'd need you to go find us a place and stop bitching about it. I'd need you to, like, you know what I mean? I'd need you to call your friends. Like, I'd need you to get on a virtual men's group. You know, I would need you lay it out. And then you let it go. In 2 weeks, if he's done nothing, you know, then bring it up again and go, rah! And let him know, like, really let him know. Like, I'm really losing trust. I mean, because it'll kill your relationship if you don't address it. But give him space to course correct on his own. Give him your truth, then let it go. and give him space to course correct on his own. And when he does, let him know it feels good. Let him know you trust him more. Let him know like you appreciate, you know, his efforts to really lock in and self-master, even though he's unregulated without a home. That takes something from him. It takes a little extra from him, and your recognition of that will feel really good.
Thank you so much.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're welcome. It's good to see you again, Ian. Good to see you again.
Yeah, nice to see you, John. See you.
Right on, guys. So I'm so sorry. Like I always am bummed I can't get to as many questions as I would want to get to in these. We will do another one of these in a couple of months. Meantime, there's you can join the virtual workshop and get a lot more content, and then we do things like this once a month where you can bring your questions about your practice and so that's available. Also, we are coming to Europe next month. We're sold out for feminine practitioners, but we have a handful of spots for masculine practitioners. So if you are in Europe, or you know of good men in Europe that want to come, we are open for couples and masculine practitioners. And then you can also join online, like I invited David to. So that's available too. And I think the last thing that's available is we have I think 3 spots left for men in teacher training. So if there's something that this feels like something you want to take a deep dive, I mean, it's a deep dive, so this is not for the faint of heart, but we have 3 spots left for men for teacher training. The rest are sold out. And with that, I will turn it over to Jen. Thank you all for being here. It was a pleasure to spend this time with you. Really, really great questions. And I'm just so grateful for all y'all, the way you showed up and supported each other. Thank you so much for being here. So Jen, I'll turn it over to you.
Great. Thank you, John. And thank you everybody for coming today. These are so fun for us. And like John said, we'll have another one in a couple of months. It'll be in August, and we'll notify you via Instagram and email. And if you have any questions about any of the programs or any of our offerings that John mentioned, please feel free to email us at support@johnwineland.com. The virtual workshop is a great place to stay connected to the practices and within community on a monthly basis for the office hour calls. And then our London workshop is a great way to take a deep dive into the work. And if you're a masculine being, the teacher training is a wonderful, wonderful, playful out program. So again, support@johnwineland.com. We'd love to hear from you, and have a beautiful, beautiful weekend.